This is Brother Inyas from me, Divine Voice out of Africa, Maris Wide. Thank you very much for taking this time to watch this channel. We do try our best to give you the best of what Africa youth needs to hear. And today I have a great opportunity to speak to educationists, deputy principal academic, formator, and apostles of the youth, and everything else in between in marriage life and consecrated life as far as it is concerned. I'm talking about Reverend Brother Moses Fegher. Greetings and welcome, brother.
Thank you, Brother Inyas.
Kindly, can you tell us about you?
As already mentioned, my name is Brother MosesFegher, a married brother from the province of Nigeria. In a summary, I joined the brothers in 2006. I stayed in the postulancy for 2 years, then moved to the novitiate, where I equally spent 2 years, and left there in 2009. I did my scholasticate in Nairobi, Kenya, where I spent 4 years. And after completion, I returned back to my province, where I spent 2 years of community apostolic life. And after that, by the grace of God, I made my final profession in 2014. And since then, I've been living the life of a religious as a married brother.
You have quite enough years in marriage life. So far, can you share with us your marriage experience?
Being a married brother is quite interesting because actually what attracted me to join this congregation, I fell in love with the name married. And of course, a friend who introduced me to the marriage brotherhood vocation visited when I was at home still searching to get congregation that I would join. And so when he visited me, he told me I'm with a marriage brother. So I asked him, what do you mean by married? And he shared with me that married means, Mary, that a word is taken from Mary. And then, even now, being a very strong, devotee of Mary, I was captivated. Okay, so he gave me the date for the encounter. That was in February 2006. I went. And interestingly, I stayed only for 3 days and I was given admission. And that's when the journey began. Additionally, I was equally told that the brothers work with young people. And as a growing child, what actually started inspiring me to maybe be a priest then, because I never knew that we have another vocation in the church known as brotherhood. Okay, the desire to work with young people, because my growing up as a child, had issues, so I was inspiring to be a priest, but now a religious, so that I help other young people who may be experiencing the same thing I went through. Okay. So being a married brother gives me that opportunity to actually deepen my understanding of who Mary is, okay, get close to her, and by doing that, share, that love of a mother Mary usually has for her children with the young people the brothers work with.
That's great. From 2006 up to now 2022, you have encountered with different brothers from all over Africa, extremely even the outside of Africa. What shaped your life view in marriage life?
Thank you so much. This is quite interesting. The life of a religious, when you would like to analyze it from the perspective of being an African, it's quite synonymous, because in Africa we strongly believe in doing things in common. And so when I joined the brothers and I was exposed to the life of, doing things in common, which we call being in community. I found a lot of elements which are similar to what Africans practice. Okay? You live in a community, you do most of the things in common. So with this understanding, the life has been challenging. But actually, when I try to reflect where I'm coming from, it gives me that strength that where you are now is not very different, quite different from where you are coming from. And of course, when I was joining this life, very many people stood against it. But I always remember what my father told me. He said, Moses, I know you, you are my son. Very many people seem to be against this, but for me, I believe where you are going is not something bad. Okay? And maybe God wants to use you to educate, to enlighten other young people that this is another way of, serving God in the church. So when you go there, make sure you do very well. So actually, this voice is always at the back of my mind. And again, the understanding of religious life, taken from the perspective of being an African, always give me that strength, the courage to forge ahead, irrespective of the challenges one meets on this journey.
It's a wonderful experience. You mentioned about community life. What do you have to say about community life?
Living in the community is quite beneficial because the brothers you live with will encourage you when you are down. Brothers who live exemplary. When you see them do things, go out for prayer, go out for apostolate. So even when you don't, you don't feel like, okay, living the life, what happens actually around you and in the environment where you stay, which is the community, will always, be a source of strength. And this has actually been helping me. Brothers encouraging me, when I fail, maybe to do what is expected of me. A lot of people will come around in your, maybe when you are sad moments, of course, when you are very happy, you have you have made some achievements. Okay? Everybody comes around to share your joys, your sorrows. So that alone, it's quite encouraging as a brother. And of course, being human, we have to be relational. You don't live in isolation. So the brothers always around me gives me, that strength when my being human is failing. So it has been quite challenging, but as well encouraging living with my fellow brothers in the family.
Today, majority of the population in the whole world, they are the youth. What wisdom would you like to offer to the young men who would like to join marriage life?
This is a very, very interesting question that I would like to be very passionate about it, sharing. Because I worked as a vocation director before. Human beings like sacrifices. When somebody sacrifices an aspect of our life so that others benefit, a lot of people are very happy, they appreciate. But when it comes to individual persons making sacrifice, maybe the same sacrifice, it's very difficult. So this is what is happening in Africa now, that even vocation, at times congregations, different institutes experience barrenness because young people are not willing to sacrifice their life to serve in the church, to help the society. So as a young man or woman who is desiring to embrace this life, my advice to them is that religious life is a life of sacrifice. You empty yourself so that it benefits others. So right away from the answer, you have to get this understanding very well because it is this understanding that will guide you through your formation, deepen the understanding of what it means to sacrifice oneself. Failure to know these, the challenges that one may encounter on the way will definitely make you to dare, make you to change the initial intention, the desire to continue. But when you know that the life you're going to embrace actually calls for sacrifices, a lot of things, the challenges you may meet on your way will not quench that passion, okay, to persevere to the end. So, in summary, a young person who wants to embrace religious life must know that the life calls for self-emptying, so that by doing that, the world benefits from the sacrifice you make.
That's great. You have been enough quite time in ministry. You have served in a different capacity. Right now we're talking, you are a deputy principal academic, you are a formator, you have been a teacher, you have done a lot in this congregation. Where do you get your strength to continue this journey?
My strength comes primarily from two sources: the brothers I live with and the personal prayer I say on daily basis. Like I shared before, the brothers I live with encourage me, they challenge me. Okay? Because the difficulties we experience may be different, but when you look at the challenges as a group, okay, you see each person trying to overcome some of the experiences, the hardship, the difficulty one may experience in their life. And so when you look at that, your own fellow brother, okay, is making effort to live the life amidst some of the challenges we go through, it encourages a lot. And of course, as Christians, even before being religious, we are told, and I know too well, that anything you are doing without surrendering that to God in prayer, you are bound to fail. And so I always, take everything to God in prayer. When I'm experiencing challenges, when I have joys, okay, I say prayer of thanksgiving. When I'm having challenges, I equally take everything to God in prayer, and this has been actually guiding me, motivating me to persevere in this life. And of course, I know that there is no form of life one embraces that will not encounter issues. Any form of life you choose to live, you must, you sacrifice, of course, certain things. You pass through difficulties, but when you remain, committed, dedicated, and of course, as a Christian, when you take the challenges to God in prayer, eventually you overcome. So these has actually been helping me a lot. The life of prayer and also sharing life in the community with the brothers.
That's great.
These two have been my source of inspiration to continue as.
That's great. You have mentioned prayer. I would like to ask you also to share with us your prayer life experience.
I established my, very intimate relationship with Mary. Okay, and I've already hinted this, that my relationship with Mary, love for her actually motivated me to join the brothers. When I got to know that the married brothers actually, their life centers on Mary and trying to help young people know and love God. Okay. So I have a very strong devotion to Mary, but of course, as Catholics, our faith, the climax of our faith is celebration of Mass, the Eucharist. But what keeps me strong as a religious is my devotion to Mary, because that's where I find my strength. And I would like to encourage, especially Catholics, okay, who don't seem to understand that going to Mary is an easy way of having access to her Son, Jesus Christ. Okay, to cultivate that devotion to Mary, saying your rosary, no matter what, even if it means a decade a day, okay, it gives a lot of spiritual strength.
That's good. May, do you have anything else you like to share? I did not ask you.
Of course, I would like to advise especially young people, specifically, boys who wish to make a choice in life, that when you decide early, it helps you, grow in the life. So it doesn't matter the choice you make, okay? But what matters is, your commitment, the dedication, for the choice you've made. You can decide to be a married person, okay? So are you committed to being a married person? You decide to be a priest, okay? What will help you to live and help the people of God is your commitment and dedication to the services of being a priest. If you want to be a brother, a religious brother, something applies. Okay? What to keep you going in the life is your commitment, dedication to the activities, okay, of a brother. If it's to help young people, how are you dedicated to that? Okay? If it's maybe working in hospitals, if it's working with street children, how are you committed to making sure that the people under your care actually, they benefit from your services? When you are able to do this, of course, satisfaction comes from there. You feel fulfilled also as a religious brother, as a religious priest or a diocesan priest, as a reverend sister, even as a married person. You still have, services you offer that the society benefits from. So it's only when you are committed and dedicated, okay, that you'll be able to serve the people who look up to you.
That's great. Thank you very much for having honored my invitation. I hope the next time we wish you to come back to us still, you will share with us a lot. Thank you very much.
It is my pleasure, and feel free to always, call on me. I will always avail myself to be there. Thank you. I'm grateful for this privilege.
Thank you very much and Happy New Year.
You're welcome.